Hare Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Batahara Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Batahara Mosamo Patita Prabhu Napae Beara Mosamo Patita Prabhu Napae Beara Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Bolo Kana Koro Ami Bharadukhi Kripa Bolo Kana Koro Ami Bharadukhi Daya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Daya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Bole Pai Chaitanya Nitai Tava Kripa Bole Pai Chaitanya Nitai Ha ha Swarup Sanatan Rupa Raghunath Ha ha Swarup Sanatan Rupa Raghunath Bhata Yoga Shri Jiva Gopal Nagunath Bhata Yoga Shri Jiva Bhata Yoga Shri Jiva Prabhu Lokana Daya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Daya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Naratamadas Ramachandra Sangamage Naratamadas Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karamori Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karamori Toma Bhina Kedayalu Jagata Samsari Toma Bhina Kedayalu Jagata Samsari Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Srila Prabhupada Gaur Premanande. So today is very auspicious day. Today is the appearance day of today is the appearance day of Srila Narottama Das Thakur.
আর কেউ আছে মহারাজ কালকে বলছিলেন অনুবাদ হলে ভালো হতো তো কেউ যদি সবাই একটু এগিয়ে আসার জন্য অনুরোধ করা হচ্ছে হয়তো আরো ভক্তরা আসবে বা পিছন দিয়ে যাবেন দর্শন করার জন্য हरे कृष्णा महाराज इंग्लिश में बोलेंगे किसी को अनुवाद जरूरत है इंग्लिश से हिंदी या इंग्लिश से बंगाली? मेरे ख्याल से सब लोगों को समझ में आता है। ओके, ठीक है, हरे कृष्णा। तो महाराज इंग्लिश में बोलेंगे।
So today we said Narottam Das Thakur appeared in this world. I think Keturi Gram, usually the place of Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur as a young man, he went to Vrindavan and he was in the school of Jiva Goswami. And Jiva Goswami taught him. He was already a nice devotee, and that's why they sent him to Vrindavan to get more association. So he was in Vrindavan and he was there with people like Shamananda and Srinivas. And the three of them were sent by Jiva Goswami to bring the books of the Goswamis, to bring the books back to Bengal, because Lord Chaitanya had disappeared, and in the absence of Lord Chaitanya, the devotees were feeling very desperate to hear more, because the Lord had departed from the world, so they wanted to get more, to hear more about the message of Lord Chaitanya and the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So Jiva Goswami arranged to have a bullock cart with escort, and these three main devotees, they were the three prominent preachers there in the Gurukula of Jiva Goswami in Vrindavan: Shamananda, Srinivas, and Narottam. And the three of them were all expert musicians. They were very expert in singing and instruments. And Narottam especially, he would lead wonderful kirtans. He had his own style of leading kirtans. Anyway, when they were coming back, the books all got stolen, and Srinivas was able to find the books later on, got the books back. But when the books got stolen, then Narottam went to preach in Bangladesh, and Srinivas was there finding the books, and he found the books eventually and made many devotees there. And Shamananda, he went to Orissa, and in this way they were preaching. So Narottam, he made many devotees. He was actually the disciple of Lokanath Das Goswami. And Lokanath Das Goswami was living in Vrindavan when Narottam approached him and asked him for initiation. And Lokanath said, no. He said, I don't have any disciples, and I don't want to take any disciples. But Narottam was getting instruction in his dreams. Lord Chaitanya was coming to him and telling him, you have to take initiation. You have to get initiation from Lokanath. He should be your guru. He is the right person for you. So again and again, Narottam would come and request Lokanath for initiation, and Lokanath would refuse. So then Narottam secretly arranged to go to the place where Lokanath was residing, and he would clean the place. He would find out where he was bathing and everything, and he would clean that place regularly. So after some time, Lokanath understood somebody must be coming here, because I didn't leave the place like this. So then Lokanath trapped one day. He waited and he caught Narottam coming there to clean the place. And then he said, what are you doing? And Narottam said, well, I have to get initiated. You know, you don't want to accept me, but I've been told again and again by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you're the only person to be my spiritual teacher. So then Lokanath then relented. He said, well, okay, we'll wait for a suitable date. And on a suitable date, they had the initiation. And Lokanath said, I won't take any more disciples. You will be the only one. So Narottam got initiated, and then he got sent by Jiva Goswami, sent back to Bengal to bring the books. And then he went to Katurigram, to his place, and he was preaching there. And he made thousands of devotees. And he wrote many songs like the one we just sang. Very simple language, very simple, but very deep and very profound meaning. So that was Narottam, his expertise, that he could put things into a very simple language so that common people could understand them. And Narottam Das Thakur, he had thousands of disciples. His guru only had one disciple, but he initiated thousands of disciples. And Narottam, he left this world in a very wonderful way, that one day he was bathing in the Ganga with some of his disciples. And while he was bathing in the Ganga, his body turned into milk. So he took Dud Samadhi. His body turned into milk as he was taking bath in the Ganges. And that place is there on the banks of the Ganga. You can go there. The Padma, they call it Padma, right, in Bangladesh. So it's there. There's a place, there's a special place where he was bathing, where he took the Dud Samadhi. So Narottam Das Thakur, very, very great Acharya and spiritual master. Today we're remembering him. So we're going to continue discussing more about the different pastimes of Lord Nityananda. Just like the pastimes of Lord Krishna are unlimited, so the pastimes of Lord Nityananda are also unlimited. So one of the pastimes I thought we would talk about today, it took place in Shantipur. Shantipur, of course, is the place of Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya, Lord Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they're all Vishnu Tattva. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. Lord Nityananda is his expansion, and Advaita Acharya is his incarnation. So sometimes people ask, what's the difference between an expansion and an incarnation? Well, that's the difference between Advaita and Nityananda. Nityananda is the expansion, Advaita is the incarnation. Lord Nityananda is Balaram, and Advaita Acharya was Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. So they're all the Pancha Tattva. So Shantipur, very special place. Lord Chaitanya would visit there several times, and Prabhupada would go to Shantipur. Prabhupada liked to go to Shantipur. Before he took sannyas, before he went to America, he would go to Shantipur and he would chant there and he would pray for his preaching work. And at one point he was thinking to make our ISKCON headquarters there in Shantipur. But somehow he got some land in Mayapur. So anyway, Shantipur, every year devotees go there to Shantipur. We have a big festival. It's actually a festival in honor of Madhavendra Puri. Yeah, Madhavendra Puri. His disappearance day. It's just before Gaur Purnima, couple of days before Gaur Purnima, on the Dwadasi. Day before was Ekadasi, next day is Madhavendra Puri's disappearance day. And we have a nice festival there, and thousands of people know. Over the years, it's become bigger and bigger. What happened was Advaita Acharya's family, they are still living there in Shantipur. His descendants are there. And they approached ISKCON. They came to Mayapur one time and they requested Jayapataka Swami and the leaders there. They said, you know, we know in the past, our descendant Advaita Acharya, he would always have a big festival in honor of his Guru Maharaj, Madhavendra Puri. Right? Advaita was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. We say Nityananda probably was also, or maybe he was a disciple of Lakshmipati. Anyway, Advaita Acharya liked to do a big festival in honor of his Guru Maharaj, and every year he would distribute so much prasadam, and thousands of people would all come, and he would prepare for it. He would purchase big warehouses full of boga and leaf plates and everything so he could feed everyone. So they said, could you help us? Could we do it? Could you? Because they didn't have any means, any financial means to do it. So they asked ISKCON, can you do it? Can you put on this festival for us? It would be very nice if you can come to Shantipur every year and have a big festival and distribute and do it on this day of Madhavendra Puri's disappearance. So the devotees agreed, and every year we've been going, maybe now it's about 30 years, we've been going there to Shantipur. Jai, Radha Govinda ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki Jai. So we have a big festival there, and many people come. We distribute prasadam. It's actually said that everyone who helps to distribute prasadam and to cook prasadam, and everyone who takes prasadam, they'll get Krishna Prem on that day. When you go to Shantipur on that day, you get special blessings. So it's very nice. Anyway, it happened, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his sannyas in Katha. And when Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas, he wanted immediately to go to Vrindavan. He wanted to go to Vrindavan, you know. He's given up the material world. Now he just wants to go to Vrindavan. He just wants to fully immerse himself in Krishna. So the best place is Vrindavan. So Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan. And so, when Mahaprabhu took sannyas, a few devotees were there with him, like Lord Nityananda, and then also Chandrasekhar, and also Makunda. They were all there when he took sannyas. So when he wanted to go to Vrindavan, they said, we will come with you. We'll go with you to Vrindavan. And so Mahaprabhu was going, and there were Lord Nityananda, he plays some tricks sometimes, you know. And so Lord Nityananda, he wanted to bring Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Shantipur, because Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas, he'd left home, and none of the devotees in Mayapur hardly even knew what was happening. So Lord Nityananda wants to arrange to bring Mother Sachi to Shantipur so that she can see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now that he's a sannyasi. And he said Lord Nityananda wanted to bring all the other devotees as well, that they should all come to Shantipur, because they should see Mahaprabhu, that now he's a sannyasi, he's changed. Before he was the grihasta, long hair, nice silk cloth, but now he's a sannyasi, he's renounced. And so Lord Nityananda, he didn't tell Lord Chaitanya about this, but he arranged that Lord Chaitanya would be tricked into thinking he was going to Vrindavan. And Lord Nityananda arranged, there was some young boys, cowherd boys, and so he said, when the sannyasi comes and he will ask you the way to Vrindavan, you should point along this path. You see? So the young boys, okay, Lord Nityananda encouraged them, told them some story. So Mahaprabhu's in ecstasy and he's asking, where is Vrindavan? Which is the way to Vrindavan? And the boy, oh, that way, that way. So Mahaprabhu's pleased. And then at one point they came to the Ganga, where the Ganga was. And Lord Nityananda arranged, he said, when Mahaprabhu comes, when the sannyasi comes, tell him this is the Yamuna. So Lord Chaitanya comes along, he's very ecstatic and he sees the water and he said, what is this? What is this? What is this river? And the young boys, they'd been told, and they said, oh, this is Yamuna. And oh, Yamuna. And Lord Chaitanya begins to recite verses glorifying the Yamuna. And then he takes his bath in the Yamuna. And he's thinking he's in the Yamuna. But while he's taking his bath in the Yamuna, a boat appears. And in the boat is Advaita Acharya. And Lord Chaitanya looks at him and said, what are you doing here in Vrindavan? What are you doing here in Vrindavan? And Advaita says to Lord Chaitanya, my Lord, wherever you are, this is Vrindavan. Famous line, right? Wherever actually it's true because Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna. And so wherever Krishna is, that is Vrindavan. And and Lord Chaitanya was a bit puzzled that how is it Advaita is here, And then he was thinking, he said to Lord Nityananda, he said, you have cheated me. But Advaita Acharya came to the rescue and said, no, he didn't cheat you. He said, because this side of the Ganga, this is where the Yamuna joins in the Ganga. The Yamuna flows in this side of the Ganga. Yamuna water is very dark color and Ganga water is very clear. So you can see where the Yamuna flows into the Ganga, then you've got this dark colored water coming in. And the Ganga is usually clear. So they said, this side of the river, this is actually the Yamuna. Although it had become the Ganga, but that's the side where the Yamuna flows in, that is the water of the Yamuna. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a little pacified, you see. Anyway, they brought Lord Chaitanya to Shantipur with all the, and at the same time, Lord Nityananda, he'd sent Acharya Ratna back to Mayapur to bring Mother Sachi and the devotees from Mayapur and tell them how Lord Chaitanya has taken sannyas and you should all come. We're going to have a big festival in Shantipur with Lord Chaitanya, who is now a sannyasi. So they went to Shantipur and they had, it's Advaita Acharya's home. If you go there in the Shantipur, you can see there's many mango trees there. Very nice place. So they brought Mother Sachi, and of course she comes and she sees her son. He's now a sannyasi, and Mother Sachi, oh my son, you know. So Lord Chaitanya tells Mother Sachi, yes, he said, I did it when I did it on the spur of the moment. He said, I was foolish. He said, if you want, I will come home with you now and I will give it all up. But Mother Sachi said, oh, no, no, don't do that. If you do that, that will be worse. Then it's bad enough that you're not going to be home, but if you give up the sannyas and come home, that will be unbearable. So better you continue. But of course, Mother Sachi had a request, and the request was, don't go to Vrindavan. I want you to just go to Jagannath Puri. Because if you go to Vrindavan, it's so far away, it will be very difficult to get news of your activities there. And if I don't get any news of your activities, how will I live without hearing about you? So she said, if you go to Jagannath Puri, regularly people are coming and going between Navadvip and Jagannath Puri. And it said these Jagannath Puri and Navadvip are like two rooms in the same house. Just like if you live in a house, you may be in one room, you know about what's going on in the next room, right? It's one house, you know. So the same way, Jagannath Puri and Navadvip, they're like two rooms in one house. So Mother Sachi said, if you will go to Jagannath Puri, then I can regularly get news about your activities, people coming and going. So Lord Chaitanya agreed. And Advaita Acharya, he's made arrangements to feed everyone. And Lord Chaitanya had just taken sannyas. And so Lord Chaitanya tells Advaita Acharya, he said, I just want very simple prasadam. Just a little rice and a little sak. He said, don't give me any big feast on it. He said, just make it. He said, I'm a sannyasi. I should eat simply. Just give me a little rice with some sak. And no problem, everything is arranged. We will take care. Don't worry, everything will be all right, you know. And of course, Advaita Acharya, he's made arrangements for the Lord's prasadam. Now, if you go to Shantipur, you can see the place where where Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and Advaita Acharya, they've made a special shrine there commemorating the event, how the three lords had sat together taking prasadam. So it's a very wonderful description in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishnadas Kaviraj describes in great detail how Advaita Acharya arranged everything. He had three big thalis and, you know, mountains of prasadam. And Lord Chaitanya saw it and he thought, oh, very nice. This is very nice offering for the Lord. He saw, because you're offering for the Lord. This is very nice. And, you know, big mountains of prasad, a lot of preparations. And Lord Chaitanya said, very, very good, very nice worship. You know? But then when it came time to take prasadam, Advaita Acharya said, one place is for you. This is meant for you. And Lord Chaitanya, yeah, no, come on, I'm a sannyasi, I cannot eat so much. And said, come, you've come to my home, you have to eat, you know, this is not... Anyway, Lord Chaitanya was coerced a little bit, you know, he was pushed a bit to that you have to take something. So Lord Chaitanya enjoyed taking prasadam. However, there were some joking words between Advaita Acharya and Lord Nityananda. The two of them, they're very interesting people, you know. Uh, so the two lords, meaning Chaitanya and Nityananda, they sat down and smiling, and they began to eat the prasadam, right? And then Nityananda says, I have been undergoing fasting for 3 days continuously. They come from Katwa. Lord Chaitanya took sannyas in Katwa, and they come all the way to Shantipur, walking. It takes some time, so maybe it would take about 3 days, And Lord Nityananda said, I've been fasting for 3 days. Today, I had hoped to break my fast. There was huge plates of prasadam. But Lord Nityananda said, although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking that the quantity of food was enormous, Nityananda Prabhu, on the contrary, thought it was not even a morsel. Morsel, very small. He had been fasting for 3 days and greatly hoped to break fast on that day. But he says, although I am invited to eat by Advaita Acharya, today also is a fast. So small a quantity of food will not even half fill my belly. This is Lord Nityananda, his joking words, you see. But he said it in a very serious tone, you see. So, Advaita Acharya is there. So he replies, he said, Sir, you are a mendicant traveling on pilgrimage. Sometimes you eat fruits and roots, and sometimes you simply go on fasting. Right? When you go to holy places, when you're going traveling, sometimes you eat nicely and sometimes you don't eat. And sometimes you eat things like when Lord Chaitanya was traveling through Jharkhand, he was just eating some whatever wild fruit or roots were there. Do you like to live like that? Eat some roots? Where would you get fruit? Here in the city? No, you cannot. Anyway, Advaita Acharya said, I am a poor Brahmana. Actually, he's not very poor, but he's got a big land and he's got a big family. He's got 6 sons, and he's the head of the Brahmanas in Shantipur. He's the leader of the community there. So he's not really poor, and he cooked such a big feast, but he's saying to Lord Nityananda, I am a poor Brahmana and you have come to my home. Please be satisfied with whatever little food you have received. Give up your greedy mentality. Right? Greed, that's a tendency, we can be greedy. When it comes to prasadam, when it comes to eating, it's often difficult to control the tongue. So greed, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna speaks about 3 gates going to hell: Kam, Krodh, and Lobe. And every sane person must avoid these things, you see. So Advaita Acharya is instructing Lord Nityananda in this way: give up your greedy mentality. Lord Nityananda says, whatever I may be, you have invited me. Therefore, you must supply as much as I want to eat. You bring people to your home, you invite people to your home. You have to satisfy them. His Divine Grace Advaita Acharya, after hearing the statement of Nityananda Prabhu, he took the opportunity presented by the joking words and spoke to him as follows. Advaita Acharya said, "You are a reject Paramahamsa, and you have accepted the renounced order of life just to fill your belly. I can understand your business is to give trouble to Brahmanas." Right? That means Advaita Acharya. So, this is very interesting words coming from Advaita Acharya, you see. And Prabhupada explains in relation to this, he said, there's always a difference of opinion between a smarter Brahmana and a Vaishnava Goswami. Smarter Brahmana means Jati Brahman, Brahman by caste, right? And Vaishnava, you know, they can come from any kind of background. So, even Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they're not from Brahmana families. They're Vaishnavas. But smarter Brahmanas, they're Brahmins by birth, you see. In the line of Shankaracharya, if you're going to be sannyasi, you have to be from Brahmana family. Without being from Brahmana family, you cannot become sannyasi. So, Shankaracharya, and he was Brahman. So, smarter Brahmanas, they will criticize, oh, you Vaishnava people, you're low class, you know. We are high birth, you know. We are very high stand. So Prabhupada writes there are even smarter opinion and Vaishnava Goswami opinions available on astrological and astronomical calculations. Yeah, they have different opinions about the movements of the planets and how these things affect us. And Advaita Acharya had called Lord Nityananda a reject Paramahamsa. In Bengali, it's Brasta Avadut. Brasta Avadut. So Advaita Acharya had called Lord Nityananda in that way. And so in a sense, he accepted Nityananda as a Paramahamsa. You know, he's a reject Paramahamsa. You know, not a first-class Paramahamsa, but reject Paramahamsa. So Advaita Acharya, he accepted Lord Nityananda as a Paramahamsa. In other words, Nityananda Prabhu had nothing to do with the rules governing smarter Brahmins. Actually, Lord Nityananda, his father was a Brahmana, but mother was not Brahmana. So mixed caste. So Nityananda, he didn't follow any of the rules which the smarter Brahmana, smarter Brahmana have so many rules, right? Don't touch your face with your left hand, right? That's there's so many things. Don't stand on my shadow. You know, you're low caste, you know. You cannot stand on my shadow. So many smarter Brahmanas, it caused a lot of conflict because of the whole culture about smarter Brahmanas, that how they dominated, and of course that was the failure of the Varnashram system because the Brahmanas became corrupted and degraded. So Lord Nityananda, he doesn't have anything to do with the different rules which are there for the smarter Brahmanas. Lord Nityananda, he is Avadut. Here he's called reject Paramahamsa. So under the pretense of condemning him, Advaita Acharya was actually praising him, because he's calling him as a Paramahamsa, but he's rejected the smarter Brahmins. In the Avadut stage, the Paramahamsa stage, which is the supermost stage, one may appear to be Vishayi, on the platform of sense gratification, right? Avadut stage, he may appear like he's a Vishayi, like he's enjoying the senses, but he actually has nothing to do with sense gratification. It appears to common people that, oh, he's enjoying the senses, but actually has nothing to do with that sense gratification. So Prabhupada explains, he said, at that stage, a person sometimes accepts the symbol and dress of a sannyasi and sometimes does not. That he's such an advanced soul, he doesn't need to dress like a sannyasi. He's already detached from the world. He doesn't need to wear the dress, the robes of the sannyasi to be renounced. He is so elevated. Now, a lot of sannyasis in the Vaishnava tradition, they won't go to countries where you have to give up your robes. You know, they will only go where they can be a sannyasi. But sometimes in the course of our missionary work, we go into countries and we would not get in if we were to come there in our robes as a monk, as a sannyasi. They will say, go away. We don't need you here, you know. There are countries like that. If you go there as a sannyasi in robes, they won't give you admission. So some people, they won't go there because they won't take off the robes. But we do it, and we do it for preaching work. And Prabhupada writes about it. It's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it describes how Maharaj Prataparudra changed his dress. He took off his royal robes to go and give a massage to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sometimes people are surprised that, oh, why are you not wearing your robes? You know, why are you not? But if they see a devotee, that usually they see him every day in the saffron dress, and then suddenly they see him in ordinary clothes, oh, what's wrong? Why you change it? Because usually you won't change the dress. But for missionary work, and to get into countries and to be able to go places without difficulty, devotees will change the dress. And Srila Prabhupada approved this. And Srila, just like devotees distribute books, and they will often go in civilian dress, the civilian dress. They will go out for preaching because it's easier for them to meet people and to introduce Krishna consciousness to them. And Prabhupada gave the example how Maharaj Prataparudra changed his dress so that he could go and do personal service for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't want to meet with Maharaj Prataparudra because he said he's a materialist. He's just a materialistic person. So Prabhupada is explaining how when somebody's actually renounced avadut, or they can give up the dress. They don't need to wear the dress of a renunciate to be renounced. Wherever they go, they'll be renounced. So sometimes they wear the dress and sometimes they do not. Sometimes he dresses like a householder. We should know, however, that these are all joking words between Advaita and Nityananda Prabhu. They are not to be taken as insults. Of course, they're very close friends, but they joke with each other. Lord Nityananda was joking when he said, this food, this is not even a morsel. I'm still going to be fasting. It was definitely joking. And Advaita is joking back with him, calling him reject Paramahamsa, coming to my home just to give trouble. So Prabhupada writes in Kadadaha, sometimes people misunderstood Nityananda Prabhu to belong to the Sakta Sampradaya, whose philosophy is Antasakala Bahi, Sabayan Vaishnava Mana. According to Sakti Sampradaya, a process called Katha Vadura thinks materially while externally appearing to be a great devotee of Lord Shiva. So a process where you think materially and you appear to be a great devotee of Lord Shiva. When such a person is in an assembly of Vaishnava, he appears like a Vaishnava. Actually, Nityananda Prabhu, he did not belong to such a community. Nityananda Prabhu was always a brahmachari, of a sannyasi of the Vedic order. He was a brahmachari, he was a servant. Like I told yesterday about how Lord Nityananda, how he left home when he was a young boy. The sannyasi had come to Ekachakra and he wanted someone to go with him traveling. And so he asked the father, mother, can you give me your son? Sometimes we go to people's homes and, if we see they have some sons, they say, why don't you give some sons for us to take? And sometimes the mother will say, oh, take them all, get rid of them. The mother doesn't want them sometimes, so angry at them. But in Ekachakra, Lord Nityananda was there with his mother and father, and the sannyasi asked them, so they agreed, all right, okay, our son, because then he can go and visit all the holy places, and he won't do any bad thing. He's with a sannyasi, so he'll be protected from any nonsense. You stay at home, what are you going to do? You're going to get a mobile phone and watch Bollywood movies all your life, So better you be with sannyasis and travel and preach and distribute Krishna consciousness. You go to mundane schools, learn a lot of useless information, a lot of useless things which you'll never use. Study at college. I studied Fourier and Laplace transformations and Fourier analysis. I studied all these things, but I never used any of it, I don't think anybody ever does use it, Somehow they teach these things, just to waste your life, you see. So Nityananda, he was a brahmachari. He'd been traveling with a sannyasi. Actually, he's not just a brahmachari, he's a paramahamsa. Sometimes he is accepted to be a disciple of Lakshmipati Tirtha, and if he is accepted, Nityananda Prabhu then belongs to the Madhva Sampradaya. He did not belong to this Shakti Sampradaya of Bengal. So Advaita Acharya then accused Lord Nityananda. He said, you can eat 10 to 20 mounds of rice. I am a poor Brahmana. How shall I get so much rice? He said, you can eat 10 to 20 manas of rice. A mana is a measurement containing about 40 kilos. And so Advaita Acharya was saying, I'm just a poor Brahmana. How can I feed you so much? So Advaita says to Lord Nityananda, whatever you have, though it be just a palmful of rice, please take it and eat it up. Don't show your madness and don't strew the remnants of food here and there. In this way, Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, they sat with Advaita Acharya joking. After eating half of each vegetable preparation given to him, Lord Chaitanya abandoned it and went to eat the next. And at that time, as soon as half of the vegetables was taken, Advaita Acharya would fill it up again. And in this way, Lord Chaitanya finished half of a preparation. And again, Advaita would fill it up again. After filling a pot with vegetables, Advaita Acharya requested, please eat more. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, how much more can I go on eating? And Advaita Acharya said, please do not give up whatever I have already given you. Now whatever I am giving, you must eat half, and you can leave half. In this way, by submitting various humble requests, Advaita Acharya made Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda eat. And Lord Chaitanya fulfilled all the desires of Advaita Acharya. But Lord Nityananda, he said, my belly is not yet filled up. Please take away your food. I have not taken the least of it. After saying this, Nityananda Prabhu took a handful of rice and threw it on the floor in front of him as if he were angry. And when 2 or 4 pieces of the thrown rice touched the body of Advaita Acharya began to dance in various ways with the rice still stuck to his body. When the rice thrown by Nityananda touched the body of Advaita Acharya, he thought himself purified by the touch of the remnants thrown by Paramahamsa Nityananda. Therefore he began dancing. Jai. This is the power of Lord Nityananda's remnants, you see. Lord Nityananda's remnants, he'd thrown it, and so because it touched Lord Nityananda, it came from Lord Nityananda's hand. When it touched Advaita Acharya, it purified him. So Prabhupada explains the word avadut refers to one who is above all rules and regulations. Sometimes, not observing all the rules and regulations of a sannyasi, Nityananda Prabhu exhibited the behavior of a mad avadut. He threw the remnants of food on the ground, and some of the remnants touched the body of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya accepted this happily because he presented himself as a member of the smarter Brahmanas. By touching the remnants of food thrown by Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya immediately felt himself purified of all smarter contamination. The remnants of food left by a pure Vaishnava are called Maha Prasad. This is commonly spirited this is commonly spiritual and is identified with Lord Vishnu. Such remnants are not ordinary. The spiritual master is to be considered on the state of Paramahamsa and beyond the jurisdiction of the Varnashram institution. The remnants of food left by the spiritual master and similar Paramahamsas or pure Vaishnavas are purifying. When an ordinary person touches such prasad, his mind is purified and his mind is raised to the status of a pure Brahmana. The behavior and statements of Advaita Acharya are meant for the understanding of ordinary people who are unaware of the strength of spiritual values, not knowing the potency of food left by the Lord. Nor the spiritual master and pure devotees. So Advaita Acharya then said to Lord Nityananda, "My dear Nityananda, I have invited you, and indeed I have received the results. You have no fixed caste or dynasty. By nature, you are a madman." And Advaita Acharya had called him a Sahaji Pagala. By nature, a madman, indicating that Lord Nityananda Prabhu was transcendentally situated on the Paramahamsa level, because he always remembered Radha and Krishna and their service. So he was transcendentally mad, and Advaita Acharya was pointing out this fact in this way, by calling him like that. And then Advaita Acharya says to Lord Nityananda, "To make me a madman like yourself, you have thrown the remnants of your foot at me. You did not even hear the fact that I am a Brahmana." So, Advaita Acharya considered himself to belong to the smarta Brahmanas, and he considered Nityananda Prabhu to be on the transcendental stage with pure Vaishnavas. Lord Nityananda gave Advaita the remnants to situate him on the same platform and make him an unalloyed Vaishnava or Paramahamsa. Advaita Acharya's statement indicates that a Paramahamsa Vaishnava is transcendentally situated. A pure Vaishnava is not subject to the rules and regulations of the smarta Brahmanas. That was the reason Advaita Acharya's stating that you want to raise me to your own standard. A pure Vaishnava or a person on the Paramahamsa stage accepts the remnants of food as spiritual. He does not consider it to be material or sense gratification. He accepts Mahaprasadam not as ordinary dal and rice, but a spiritual substance. To say nothing of the remnants of food left by a pure Vaishnava, prasadam is never polluted, even if it is touched by the mouth of a chandala. Indeed, it retains its spiritual value. Therefore, by eating or touching such Mahaprasad, a Brahmana is not degraded. there is no question of being polluted by touching the remnants of such food. Actually, by eating such Mahaprasadam, one is freed from the contaminations of the material condition. That is the verdict of the Shastra. Very powerful. We have to be very careful. We're not just eating rice and dal. We're honoring prasadam. So Lord Nityananda said, these are the remnants of food left by Lord Krishna. If you take them to be ordinary remnants, you have committed an offense. So in the Puranas it stated, one who considers Mahaprasadam to be equal to ordinary rice and dal certainly commits a great offense. Ordinary edibles are touchable and untouchable, but there are no such dualistic considerations where prasadam is concerned. Prasadam is transcendental and there are no transformations or contaminations, just as there are no contaminations or transformations in the body of Lord Vishnu himself. Thus, even if one is a Brahmana, he is certain to be attacked by leprosy and bereft of all family members if he makes such dualistic considerations. Such an offender goes to hell, never to return. This is the injunction of the Brihad Vishnu Purana. Lord Nityananda said in reply, if you invite at least, because he was saying, you've committed an offense. So Lord Nityananda says to Advaita, you have to invite at least 100 sannyasis to your home and feed them sumptuously. Then your offense will be nullified. Right? Because Lord Nityananda said Advaita committed an offense by calling it food, Said not food, it's prasadam, it's spiritual. So you have to invite 100 sannyasis to your home. So Advaita Acharya said, I shall never again invite another sannyasi. It is a sannyasi who has spoiled all my Brahminical smarta regulations. So in this way they enjoyed joking words. And they took prasadam together. So nice there. Shantipur, we see that place. It's honored. So the pastimes of Lord Nityananda are like that. You can see the joking words between Advaita Acharya and Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda is Paramahamsa. And Advaita Acharya, he's Vishnu himself, he's not, they say smarter Brahmana, that is external smarter Brahman, but actually he is the Lord himself coming to take part in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, any questions? Any comments on this? Very important pastime here. When you go to Shantipur next time, you can remember this event took place just after Lord Chaitanya took sannyas. Nice joking words. Okay, yes, Prabhu?
Thank you, Maharaj, for your sweet narration about Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu's pastimes. Maharaj, we explained about this prasadam, and Advaita Acharya, he become free from this martha form. And the people generally, they ask that any remnants is tamasic. The quote from Bhagavad Gita, Uchishtam api chamedhyam bhojanam tamasa priyam. So how this will become transcendental? This Vaishnava's Uchishta and Lord's Uchishta.
How does the food become transcendental?
Yes.
Well, we say devotees of the Lord are released from all sin because they ate food which is offered in sacrifice. So when we offer the food, this is a yagya, and this is how the food becomes prasadam. Before it's boga, but once it's offered to the Lord, then it becomes prasadam. So through the offering process, the food is transformed to prasadam. But that's the yagya. Right? Sometimes we do a program. I remember one time they did some program in the college and they put up the poster saying, "Come and see matter made into spirit." And so people, wow, it sounds mystic, it sounds exciting, you know, matter made into spirit. And so when the program took place, you know, the devotee had some food and he put it on the altar, he closed the curtain, he rang the bell and chanted the mantras. He said, now the food is spiritual. It's matter. The boga was placed on the altar and we chanted the prayers to the Lord, and the Lord is there on the altar and he accepts the offering and the food becomes spiritualized. So karma free spiritual food. This is the yagya we are doing every day, offering the food to the deities. So in this way the food becomes spiritual. And so it's important for us as devotees. We like to take prasadam. And there are some people, they will only take food offered to the deities. And at the same time, you've got smarter brahmanas, they'll never take food cooked by any Hare Krishna people. Because Hare Krishna people are all low-class people, you know, they have to have food cooked by a brahmana. What was it? There was a case in South India some few years ago. They had that one Shankaracharya in jail. There was some, you know, he was in the jail, and he's a Shankaracharya. There was some case, you know, and he got put in the, but he can only eat food cooked by a brahmana. So, you know, so they had the brahmana come, and he was in the jail, and he's cooking the food for the Shankaracharya. Very particular, smarter people. They will not take food touched or cooked by non-brahmanas. Must be brahmana, must be.
This tradition.
In Madhva?
Madhva Sampradaya. They only give sannyas to only brahmanas and they cook themselves, not anybody else.
Yes, well, Lord Chaitanya went to Udupi, of course, and he saw in Udupi how these people are attached to ritualistic activities and fruitive activities and philosophical speculation, that they're not so much into the mood of pure devotion, which was what Madhvacharya was actually preaching. But even today, you go to Madhva Center and you'll see they're doing so many rituals. It's quite amazing. I was in Bangalore and they had one Madhva Center there, and they had the cow and the tail of the cow and getting the hair from the tail of the cow to do some ritual, and oh, so many things like this. So, you know, the Kali Yuga, the real yagya is Sankirtan. That's the real yagya, chanting of the holy name. And so we're presenting that.
Or Maharaj, also I'm adding this, that taking the remnants and taking the water of pure devotees, Bhakta Pada Jal and Bhakta Pada Dhuli, that is also Jagya. It purify.
Well, that's mercy. You're getting the mercy. If you take the Mahaprasadam from the devotees, you take the remnants of their food or their water, that's mercy.
Thank you, Maharaj.
If we, you know, if Prabhupada's remnants, they would bring Prabhupada's remnants, you know. Whatever you could get, you take, you know. You didn't mind what it was. You're happy. It's the remnants of the pure devotee. But Prabhupada told sannyasis, he said, it's not your duty to leave a lot. You leave your remnants, you give your karma to people. So usually what happens, a spiritual master, he will give his remnants to his disciples. He will not just give to everybody, but he will give the remnants for his own disciples. Because he's already taking the karma for his disciples. So he doesn't mind to give the remnants, but he won't just give his remnants to everybody. Of course, Prabhupada generally would do that. He would allow, because Prabhupada he's very great devotee. He could do it. He could do these things, but not everybody. We cannot imitate Prabhupada's position. Yeah, if you give food to somebody and they eat your remnants, then you get their karma. If you allow people to eat your remnants, then you're accepting their karma.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Maharaj, in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned that যদিও নিত্যানন্দ সুরাবাড়ি যায় তবেও তো হয় সে নিত্যানন্দ রায়. If Lord Nityananda is going to a liquor shop, still he is the supreme personality of Godhead. So we are not in that pure stage while seeing our acharyas, or like how we can see or manifest that mode.
How we can?
Like we are not that pure soul. We have fault finding nature. So while seeing our acharyas, how we can manifest that mode of not seeing faults, rather
not seeing faults. Well, we have to see faults in ourselves. Don't be so much worried about faults in others. Look at our own faults. Be critical of our own self before you start looking at other people and finding fault with them. Look at our own self. That's generally the mood we should have. And if we see faults in others, we're not looking at our own self close enough. So we need to be more conscious of our own position and worry about our own self. Don't just be thinking about other people, what they're doing, but rather we appreciate what others, see the good in others and see the faults in ourselves, right? So see the good in other people, don't see any faults. It's not good for our Krishna consciousness to see faults in others. If people would write to Prabhupada, they'd write a letter to Prabhupada and they'd complain about people. Prabhupada would say, you feel he said, again, the neophyte tendency to find fault with others. But if somebody would write to Prabhupada and glorify everybody and tell, it's so nice, that program, then Prabhupada would feel this is very good. He'd like that. He didn't like to hear all the criticism. So you should always think like that. What's pleasing to Prabhupada? Okay, yes? More questions? What time is breakfast supposed to be?
So we are seeing in the past time that Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya is joking among themselves.
Yes.
So among the devotees also, when we joke, so what will be our limit that we can joke up to this, or we can joke anything with any devotees? So what is your opinion?
What is
your opinion? Means
what is my opinion? Well, the joking, just like Advaita and Nityananda's joking, Prabhupada is explaining that actually these jokes are actually true, the truth behind it all. So it has to be philosophically based. You see, the joking, it shouldn't just be some nonsense, but it has to be some philosophical truth. To reveal some philosophical truth, you can have joking words like that. You have to be very advanced, actually, to be able to do this kind of joking. Not so just casually joking, playing around with each other, being foolish, that is not very good. But if the joking is based on to bring out some philosophical truth, some philosophical meaning, then it's okay. Huh? Okay, last question. Somebody at the back there? Prabhu? Huh? Same question. Oh. Yeah.
Indra was criticizing the Lord. So that time Saraswati, she glorified. That is not the criticize. Indra, Govardhan Puja, that time.
Govardhan Puja. Yeah.
So, is when Indra, he was criticizing Lord Krishna.
Yes.
And that time, Mother Saraswati,
She,
that word,
yeah.
she glorified.
Yes,
She
right. Yes, Indra spoke words about Lord Krishna and saying things like he's childish and he's ignorant and this, different words. But the acharyas explain that the words which were used, that Mother Saraswati arranged that these words could be understood in another way to be a glorification of Lord Krishna. So although Indra externally appeared to be saying nasty things, bad things about Lord Krishna, Mother Saraswati arranged that these words could be understood by other people. They could be understood to be a glorification of Lord Krishna. For example, she used a word which meant, oh, he's ignorant. But actually the word meant that he knows everything. He doesn't need to know anything else because he already knows everything.
That word was Stabdha Murkha Pandita Manina. It's Bachalam, it's childish. Stabdha Murkha Pandita Manina.
Okay.
Means to whom Pandit is.
Pandita Manina, yes.
The scholar, and they glorify.
And he was ignorant, but childish as well, And his Mother Saraswati arranged that he has the innocence of the child. So this is, joking words like that. It's nice. You have to be quite scholarly to do things like that. Okay, so we can stop here today. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Srila Prabhupada ki.
We thank Maharaj for his wonderful Nityananda Katha. And tomorrow morning there will be Bhagavatam class by His Holiness Bhakti Vighna Vinash Narsimha Swami Maharaj ki. So we request everybody to come tomorrow morning and have association of Maharaj from Srimad Bhagavatam, the 11th canto. Hari Bol.